Hello YouTube and welcome to another video of mine. I know that in the last video I was I was very sappy and sad and about my brother's move, and I still am. Um, but we all have to, just deal with what life throws at us. Also, that video really was supposed to be posted on Friday, but it did not post until yesterday because Wi-Fi, when you live in the forest and it's raining, sucks a lot. Ask anyone. But that's not what today's video is about, and it's not what the next couple of days videos are going to be about. So uh, one thing that some of y'all are gonna have a heart attack when I say this. I mainly say this because a couple of people who follow me are people that I know, and they're like extremely Christian. So what I'm about to say is gonna break your heart. I just now got done watching a TV show called Lucifer. So I'm going to talk about Lucifer. Supernatural fans, I'm sorry, but I'm not talking about that Lucifer. That Lucifer's a dick. I'm also not talking about like religious Lucifer. I'm talking about there's a TV show called Lucifer, and of course the main character is Lucifer. It is made by Vertigo Comics. They're a branch of DC Comics, and they made a series called Vertigo Comics. And Vertigo Comics is a comic about Lucifer Morningstar. Long story short, the way the TV show starts, literally the introduction is in the beginning, the angel Lucifer led a rebellion against God. He was cast out of heaven to rule hell for eternity until he decided to take a vacation. And when you go, if you're on Hulu, if you're on Showbox, if you're on any of those other things, and you look at the description of Lucifer, it literally says the devil takes residence in Los Angeles. It makes sense, the devil decides to come and live in Sin City. But what I like about Lucifer is it teaches a lot of life lessons. As Lucifer's character grows, you not only does Lucifer learn important life lessons, you learn them as well. And I love it. It's a beautifully written TV show. Not just because of, I'll name 3 reasons why I think it is a beautifully written TV show. Number 1, character development. Lucifer always makes a joke. No matter how far in the series you get, Lucifer always makes jokes. Whenever he's angry, whenever he's in a good mood, whenever he's tired, whenever he's frustrated, he's always making some sort of joke. And the reason why I love that is because of this. In most TV shows or in most movies, the comic character, the character who's always making jokes, usually does it forcefully to where like it's shoving the joke down your throat, or they joke so much that their jokes become stale and you wind up not even finding them enjoyable anymore. Lucifer, on the other hand, they write the jokes that Lucifer makes into his characters so well that he can joke for the entire episode, and you're not just and they're not even just funny jokes. Some of them are jokes that just make you go, hey, I get that reference, and so on and so forth. It's actually very, very entertaining. And I also like how they actually stick to the character development, how they don't have it like in some TV shows where a character learns a valuable life lesson in one episode, then in the next episode they abandon it. Instead, in Lucifer, every life lesson he learns, he takes it into himself, and in the next episode you see him put it in practice. So I really like how they stick to character development, and it's very, very good. And it's not even just for him, it's for other characters like Amenadiel, Maze, Chloe, Daniel, all of them. Amazing character development. Second reason why I like it is I just now described it to you. It teaches you important, valuable, real life lessons, and that's something that is extremely weird because you wouldn't expect a TV show about the devil to teach you actual, real life lessons. So that's pretty good in and of itself. And the third is you never well, when you're a newcomer to the show, you never really expect what's coming. In every episode, something new is going on, and you don't really expect it. And it's very, very good. They don't base everything off of the Vertigo comics. Like in the Vertigo comics, Lucifer is the second most powerful angel. First is Michael. Michael and Lucifer are the two most powerful angels. That's still a thing in the TV show, except instead of being like their comic selves, where they can basically warp all of reality and they rule over everything. Instead, in the TV show, they only have certain powers. I'm not going to spoil any of the other characters for you, but Lucifer, you should already know, is desires. He can look at you and ask you, what is it you truly desire? And what he means by this is, what deep down in your heart do you desire? Now, most of the time, he's looking for a really horrible desire. But there are times when someone truly desires something that isn't all bad. Sometimes it's something pure and good. Like there's one where he asks someone, what is it you truly desire? And they just go, I want my ex. No. I want my wife to love me. Like, that's it. Lucifer thought that this guy was evil, but it turns out all this guy really wants is just his wife's love. And that's basically his superpower, is he doesn't even have to do just that. He can just have a conversation with you and persuade you to do whatever he wants. And that's pretty interesting. So, and some of these life lessons I've actually taken to heart and put into my own personality, and I actually like them, and I'll talk about that in future videos, and in this one as well. I guess I have time for one. So, and I'm not going to spoil anything. I can say these lessons without spoiling the show. There is one where he describes what hell is. And hell is basically, your hell is a room, right? And the door's not locked. You can leave anytime, but no one ever does. And the reason why is people who go to hell, they go to hell because deep down in their hearts they truly believe that they deserve hell because because they feel guilty about something, and that something is gonna torture them for eternity. So let's say you feel guilty about alright, let's say you were an abusive boyfriend, right? So you feel guilty about that. Well, when you die, what you're going to do, you're not going to be abused. You're going to you're going to go to hell. You're going to open up your room. You're going to find your wife. And you're going to keep abusing her. And no matter how much you try not to, no matter how much you feel guilty about it and you keep apologizing for it, you're going to keep doing it. That is your torture. Your torture is to keep committing the same sins or sin that you feel guilty about. You literally torture yourself. Now, the thing about this is when he describes hell, when he describes that hell, it's also metaphorical. Now, we do see this whenever you go to hell. There are a couple times whenever we see a character's hell and we see what their torture is. But he also meant this in a metaphorical way, and that's what us humans actually do. Us humans trap ourselves in what we call, in what we view as our hell, which is, depression and things like that. Now we don't do it to the extent of we keep making the same mistake over and over again, but we drag ourselves down by our own guilt, and that's what locks us in this hell that we are in. Anyone who's depressed or anything like that, this is something that's it's a hard pill to swallow. And what's funny is I was in a state of depression. I'll say that. I'm not afraid to say that. Um, I'm kind of better now. But when my seizures came and when I went through everything that I went through, almost dying, going to the doctor and being told that I may never drive, yada yada yada, that stuff broke me, and it got me very very depressed. So I started wondering, well, why is this happening to me? And I thought of every bad thing I did, and I felt so guilty about it, I fell into a depression. And I wound up telling myself that I deserve it. And I didn't even realize it. The only way for me to get out of that depression was to realize that the only person keeping me in it was me. The door's not locked. That's the thing, is whenever people, I finally understand. I never said it because I always thought myself that it was not a sensitive thing to say, but now I understand why people say it. If you've ever been in a depression, someone always tells you that happiness is a choice. Now when you're depressed, you don't feel that way. You're thinking, well, if I could choose to be happy, then how come I'm not happy? It's different than what they're saying. They're not saying you can snap your fingers, choose to be happy, and you're fine. What they're saying is, and this is true, it's a very hard pill to swallow. It was a hard pill to swallow for me, but I had to swallow that pill. Is you're keeping yourself trapped in your depression. Obviously you're going to need help from friends and family, and it's going to take time to get out of it. But the first step is realizing that you're the one trapping yourself. That you can unlock that door. Well, not even unlock it. Like I said, the door's not even locked. You can always turn the doorknob and choose to exit. It's extremely hard to do, but that realization is the first step toward opening that door. And that's something that spoke to me both on a personal level and as a person who studies psychology. This is what humans do. We use our guilt to trap ourselves in our own depression so much that we're truly convinced that we can't be happy. And everyone tries to tell you it's all in your head. You are loved, yada yada yada. What they mean by it's all in your head is exactly what I said. You're trapping yourself. No one. I mean, yes, people do influence your emotions. People can make you happy. People can make you sad. Yada yada yada. But at the end of the day, your depression. I'm not gonna say it's your fault, but it is a prison of your own making. You can leave that prison. You just have to take the steps out of it. And the first thing you need to do is realize that you're keeping yourself there. And then you also got to get rid of that guilt. Now, don't get me wrong, feeling guilty about a bad thing isn't a bad thing at all. If you feel guilty, then that means that you're already on the path to being a better person. But sooner or later, you're going to need to get rid of that guilt. You're going to need to realize, okay, I realize what I did. I'm bettering myself. I no longer need to carry this guilt. So that's one of the things about Lucifer that really interested me. And it's something that can help a lot of people, is hearing that the door isn't locked. What people say that life is hell, or my life is hell. The door's not locked, and you can leave at any time. I don't mean suicide. I don't mean that life is hell, so you can always leave. I mean, your depression or your hell, you can leave it at any time. It's going to take time to leave it, but eventually you can if you realize that that door is not locked. And that's kind of what pushed me into getting out of my depression. Now, I'm actually fairly happy with myself. Anyway, so that is all for today's video. I guess I'm gonna make this a series. Just life lessons that Lucifer taught me, and I would like to share. Um, Also, if you're watching this and you want to watch Lucifer, please go ahead. It's a very, very good show. And tomorrow, I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about why I find the. I'll tell you a funny thing about Lucifer. Anyway, that's all for today's video. I hope you all have a very wonderful day. Or, yeah, day.